All right, thank you for that introduction. Happy to be here at InstaSpeedathon to run open season, and I think we're a little bit behind schedule, so I'll just jump straight into the run here. But time is going to start once I clear this save file and hit OK on the difficulty. So that I will give a countdown for. So we're going to do easy. That's the fastest way to play the game, and we will start the run in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Thank you for the good luck, Rip. So this game is based on the movie Open Season. I am the current world record holder, and the game loosely follows the story of the movie, but right off the bat we're just going to sort of be spamming start to get through these cutscenes, and then we're going to start to roll. So rolling's the fastest way to get around in this game, and you'll see me use it pretty much throughout the run, but basically we're just going to hold down and spam A, which is how you roll. And this first section is sort of a tutorial. They teach you how to use your melee, which is your backpack, which is called Dinkelman. It's that stuffed teddy bear thing on the bear's back. Basically, you set this deer free, and it makes this hunter Shaw really mad, so he'll be trying to get you throughout the game. But now we're going to break into a convenience store and find some chocolate bars, which is from the movie. But yeah, these first two areas are just the tutorial section, so it's just sort of teaching you. Right here, there's some gumdrops that you can pick up, which are weapons, but we are not going to use that because it's faster in this game just to roll through stuff. So we're just going to tank a lot of damage. You saw I did have to kill one person there, and that's just so that I have enough health to get through the entire thing. As you can see right here, I'll go down to 1 health, so if I hadn't have killed that guy, I would have died. But yeah, we're cruising through this last part of the tutorial here, and then we're going to get tranquilizer darted right here. So apparently the people of the town didn't really like that we were going through their convenience store there, messing everything up. So they're going to kick us out into the forest, where we're going to have to fight off hunters and other animals that aren't our friends yet. So cool thing about this game is there are 5 different levels, and you can do them in any order, and when you complete all 5, that's when you unlock the final boss. So there is actually an optimal order to which levels you should choose, because with each level completed, you get a certain weapon. And certain weapons are good against certain bosses. Each level has a boss fight, like a small boss fight at the end. So we're going to do Skunk Land first, which is actually the last level, but we want to get skunks as a weapon as soon as possible, and you'll see why. Right here I'm going to do a little manip of that skunk up there on the top left where I jump down, and then what that does is it makes sure the skunk is inside the tunnel, so then I can just roll straight through him, and I'll take damage but I won't get knocked back, because you can't get knocked back when you're in the tunnel. So it's just a small optimization there that we use. So yeah, we're just going to keep rolling. These boxes have different types of animals inside, so here we're going to need to break that to let this beaver out, which has a chainsaw, which she'll use to chop down that tree. So yeah, not sure why the beaver can't just use his teeth, but we'll roll with it. Right there, you need to jump. If you're moving while that trapdoor opens, you'll actually lose control of your character and die because you'll fall into the pit there. So that's an important jump there. Each level has 3 different areas, so that was the end of the first one. Now we're going to be going to the second one here. And we're going to be breaking a different type of box here called a rabbit box. And what that does is these rabbits will form a bridge for us. I guess you saw one of those at the beginning of the level. I forgot to mention it. As you can see, though, it's a really slow process, so there's actually a few skips that we use later to sort of speed that up. And I'll explain that when I get to it, but that'll actually be coming up here pretty soon. Rabbit boxes are insanely slow, so we try to avoid them when we can, but unfortunately, most of them are required for progression, but there are a few things we can do, so... Alright, here we're going to have to build one more rabbit bridge, and then there's a beaver that will also have to break free from this box. So here's that rabbit bridge. Now we're up to the beaver box. Set that beaver free so he can come break this tree for us. And here we just have some time to wait. Right here we're going to hit an invincibility woohoo bar, which basically just is what it sounds like. You have invincibility, you can run through all this stuff without taking damage. So those are scattered throughout the level. Alright, right here we are going to break a rabbit box, and then we're going to exit the level and then come back, or exit the area rather, and then come back. And what this does is it skips the rabbit bridge building animation, and it saves about 5 seconds. So just because that's so slow, it does save time to go all the way out of the area and back in and have it just be already built. So that was a small skip that I found. But yeah, saves 5 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this game is actually pretty optimized. Right here we're going to do a small skip where we drop down here, and that saves us from having to go all the way around. It doesn't save that much time, but it saves a few seconds. But yeah, like I was saying, this game is pretty optimized. I think my world record is within 15 seconds of my sum of best. So right here, I'm going to sort of damage boost up through those spikes there. You're not supposed to be able to get through that place there, but by using a sort of weird combination of jumps there, you can get through. We call that the double jump Thorn glitch, and it's used in one other place throughout the run, but it's basically you do this weird sort of double jump where you can get up through the thorns. Okay, here we're going to try to just mash our melee as fast as possible, and then we're going to use our roar, which actually slows down time to help us just really get this in like one cycle. So that was pretty much a one cycle fight. The car did start to move backwards, but we got it in basically one cycle. So that was the end of the first boss. So one level down, 4 to go. We're cruising through. So the reason we do Skunk Land first is because we want to unlock skunks as weapons. So right here I'm going to pick up some skunks here, which I can now use. We're not going to use them until we get to the boss fight for this stage, though. It's on the boss fight that's coming up on this stage. The skunks are the only weapon that can reach him in the first phase of his fight. So because we want to beat it in one phase, we want to get skunks as soon as possible. So that's why we do Skunk Land first. We're now in Rabbit Land, and again, we're just sort of rolling through. These radiator things, I'm not sure exactly what to call them, but they will burn you if you stand on them for too long. So you got to sort of jump a bit. We roll right here to get across that gap quickly. And we're on to the second area of Rabbit Land. So this one's kind of the only indoor level, I guess. All the rest of them are sort of outdoor. This one does take place in a mine shaft. The sprite work's actually pretty good in this game. Like, for a licensed game, this is actually a pretty solid game. It's pretty well programmed. There's not a ton of glitches. But yeah, I've actually talked to the people that developed this game, and they were so surprised to learn that I was like running it and like actually still playing it after all these years. But because this game came out in like 2006. But they said that they did work very hard to try to make it a very fun game. It is very short, but they were under time constraints, as is often the case with licensed games. They're just trying to pump it out as quickly as possible. But they decided to make a polished game that was short rather than a longer game that was garbage, which I actually appreciate that design choice there. One thing I'll point out about this third area of Rabbit Land is it's one of the few that are not like linear. So as you can see, I'm sort of winding like back and forth from the left to the right as we wind our way up to the top to get to the boss fight. Go. We're just about to get to the boss fight here. We're going to break our third type of animal box here, which is a duck box, which somehow this duck is able to carry you, which doesn't seem that realistic, but I don't think they were going for realism when they created this game. But bears are like insanely heavy in real life, so. Alright, so right here you can see skunks are the only ones that can reach him when he's up there. So I'm going to use my roar to stop time, and just barely got him in one cycle there. So what he'll do is he'll go back and forth, I think twice or 3 times on that top there. So ideally you want to get him just as he's going to the left there. So that was the fastest we could possibly do that fight, was one cycle. And it's only possible through skunks. Because like I said, if you don't have skunks, you have to wait for him to come down to the lower track, which takes a lot of time. So right here we're going to buy Dinkelman Plus and Rail Rabbit. So one of the reasons we wanted to do Rabbit Land as soon as possible is so we can get rabbits, as they are, if you buy Rail Rabbit, they're a really effective weapon against some of the later bosses. So that's sort of what dictates our level or order here. Yes, I am spitting facts here. Bears are indeed heavy in real life. Not sure if you've ever tried to pick one up. I wouldn't recommend it for more reasons than just their weight, but they are pretty heavy. So, but yeah, so we're cruising through Squirrel Land here, and not much to say. Just rolling. We'll hit a beaver box here. Try to avoid these dynamite guys. Luckily the cycle there just pretty much always allows you to just roll right through. You don't get hit by the dynamite. And we have another invincibility here, but it's sort of useless because we don't actually run into anything that would damage us, and we lose it when we go to the next area. So one thing to notice is, so before you beat an area, the animals of that area will attack you. So you'll notice we're in Squirrel Land right now. The squirrels are like throwing nuts at me, trying to hit me. Again, I'm not sure how a nut would damage a bear, because in addition to being heavy, they're also very strong, and I'm pretty sure they're impervious to nuts. But maybe he's allergic or something. I don't know. We will just ignore that for now, though, and continue on. This is the second area. We're about to finish up here. Head on to the third and final one. And so like Rabbit Land, this third area is a little bit non-linear. This first part will be going from left to right, but right here there's actually two boxes that we need to break that are vertical. So what you'll see me do here is I'll throw, I didn't quite jump up high enough for that. I'll throw a skunk. Ideally you want to hit it first try there. And then I'll fall down and hit this one. And I had the wrong weapon up, so that was a little bit slow, but that's okay. Then you need to sort of stay up there to make that beaver go over to its tree. If you come straight down here, the beaver won't actually cut the tree until you're sort of in range of it. This top tree, that is. We'll narrowly dodge that boomerang, though, but because I waited up there, this tree is already cut down by the time we get up there. So we are about to get to the boss of Squirrel Land here. So we're cruising through. We're about halfway done with the game after we beat this boss. So this one's a little bit weird. So there's 4 different tents, and the boss will come out of one of them. And you just have to sort of, it's RNG as to which one he comes out of. But if you get 3 hits, you'll knock down the first tent. 5 hits will knock down the second hit. The second tent, 7, and then 9. So. But as you can see, this Rail Rabbit is super quick. It's a really fast weapon. That's what we'll use for the majority of the bosses now moving forward. Alright, and try to pick up some more rabbits here, hopefully. There we go. That's good. Oh, didn't quite count my hits there, but that is the end of Squirrel Land, so we have now, we're now more than halfway done with the game. We've beaten 3 of the 5 required levels to unlock the final level, which is Shaw's Cabin. That's the name of the hunter at the beginning that we took the deer from, is Shaw. I'm going to pick up some squirrels there. That'll be useful later. And we're going to roll on through. So this one has, this level Duckland has some this mossy substance that allows you to slide, which just helps us kind of go faster. Just because you don't lose your roll. As you can see, you can just sort of cruise on this surface here. Right here we have to wait for this water spout to take us up. We'll roll on through here. So an interesting thing is, so you might have noticed we saved the middle level for last. The middle level is Beaver Land, and at the end of Beaver Land you actually break this dam, and it actually floods some of the levels. So this is one of the levels that if you do Beaver Land first, it floods it. And it's not ideal because flooding, like water is instant death if you fall into it. Again, another bear fact, apparently bears die if they hit water, so according to this game at least. But yeah, so that's why we save Beaver Land for last, is we don't want to flood these levels and make them harder, as the flooded levels are the harder versions of the levels. So that's just sort of a cool mechanic they threw in there, that the levels change based on the order that you complete them in. So here, this third area is flooded no matter what. So this is what all the areas would look like if you do Beaver Land first, is you'll just have a ton of water sections. Right here, there's a small skip there where you just jump off the barrel. You're supposed to knock down that barrel and use it as a platform, but it's actually not that hard to just straight up jump off of it to the next platform. Alright, right here I'm going to try to skip a cycle on this boss fight here. Right at the beginning, I'm going to use my roar and then try to hit him with some rabbits, which is normally something you can't do, but if you slow down time, because normally he'll fly up and try to dodge your attacks, but if you slow down time with your roar, he can't go up fast enough. So that was a small skip there. Saves a pretty good amount of time. But yeah, this boss fight is insanely short. Like, that's it. So it just takes 2 hits, just because of that small skip that we had there at the beginning. And I probably didn't explain that very well, but it's kind of hard to explain exactly how that works without knowing how the fight works to begin with. But yeah, that's Duckland. We're on to our final area before the boss area. So we're on to Beaver Land. And Beaver Land is also kind of non-linear. It's got a lot of winding. Still, for the most part, you're moving from left to right, but especially in the third area, you do some backtracking. But we'll roll through here. And there are certain sections where I purposely take damage and then sort of damage boosts through other places, but I'm not mentioning them just because, I mean, for the most part, the strategy here is just to take damage and roll through stuff. So, right here we have to wait for this water spout cycle here, and then we go down. And the beavers are hostile to us right now, so to make sure we hit them when we can. Alright, here we're going to use squirrels for the first time. So squirrels are one-hit break for the boxes there, which is nice because it takes 2 melee hits. But 2, they stick to walls, so you can actually start building these rabbit bridges with a well-timed squirrel throw there. And we can pick up some weapons here while we're waiting for this bridge to build, but because we hit both of the bridges, they can both be building at the same time, and it saves some time. And use the squirrel there to break that box instantly. And now ride the duck. So there are a few ducks that you have to ride in this area. There's also some ducks that you don't have to ride if you know your route well enough. So right here I'm going to use that double jump thorn glitch to get up through these thorns. And then I'm going to try to do a damage boost here. I got it. So that damage boost saves 10 seconds by sort of hitting off of those spikes there. Oh gosh, but then one of the interesting aspects of the beavers is that they actually make you lose control. And now I'm sort of scrambling. So that damage boost didn't actually save time now because so the beavers actually hit the ground and they make you lose control of your character. And I'm probably gonna die right now, but yeah. That's okay though, we got a checkpoint there, so this is not a whole lot of time loss. But yeah, ideally I would have more health at that point, but because the beaver knocked me down, I lost control of my character. Just a small mistake there. Alright, right here we are going to use squirrels to clear our path here. So we are going to do a duck skip, where we're going to skip having to ride this next duck that we would have had to have ridden. Where basically, so you clear out the path down there with your squirrels, and then we're just going to fall down there, fall to the right, and we can hit that platform there, hit this platform, and then roll down. And so this actually saves a bunch of time because ordinarily you'd have to ride a duck, and it goes really slow, and it goes in this sort of roundabout pattern. And the duck would take you all the way up here, but instead we can just sort of jump very quickly up here. Alright, so we are on to the Boss of Duckland. This one is super easy because there's this glitch where basically you use your roar, and then you use your rabbits, and it sort of just instantly takes away all his health. I don't know why it works. No one in the open season speedrunning community knows why that works. But my theory is that it just gets multiple hits on him as the rabbit is traveling, so it goes down very quickly. It could be something else, though. I don't know. But we have unlocked Shaw's Cabin. So there's about a minute cutscene here, and then we're just on to the last level, which is just a single area and then a 3-phase boss fight, and then we're done. So I'm just going to be spamming start here, and we'll skip all those text boxes, but it looks like we're doing pretty good on time. So I'm guessing this will be a 23, so well under estimate, but we'll see. Just spamming start here to get through all these text boxes, and it's about a minute worth of cutscenes here. But yeah, Shaw tried to shoot a beaver, he made the dam flood, everything's getting weird. Now it's raining, and we are in the final area, which is called Shaw's Cabin. So this area features a new type of animal, wolves. Unfortunately, after beating this area, you don't get wolves as a weapon, unfortunately. I think it would be pretty cool to just be like chucking full-sized wolves out of your backpack, but I guess that was where they drew the line as far as realism goes. But we're just going to damage boost through these riot shield guys, that's what I call them. There's actually an out-of-bounds glitch that uses those riot shield guys. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get to show it off, just we didn't quite raise enough money, but that's okay. Alright, so we are on to the final boss here. There's just a short little cutscene, and then we are going to head into his cabin. It's a 3-phase fight, and we're just going to be using our rail rabbit for all of it. Just chucking these things as fast as possible. This first phase is super simple. You can just chuck the rabbits, and I actually chucked them before he even... So what his attack there is he shoots the ceiling and drops ceiling tiles onto you, but I was able to kill him before that even happened. So here I'm going to try to get this in 2 cycles, so you have to get a bunch of hits in, and I did get the 2 cycle. So ordinarily that takes 3 cycles, but just recently I found that you could get it in 2. So that's actually a new skip that's been found in the past 6 months, I guess. And then right here, I'm going to dodge his attack here. Then I'm going to get hit on purpose because it makes him line up in a place that's closer to where his final lining up place is. So it's just a small optimization here. We're going to hit him, and now time is going to end when I throw this pillow. 3, 2, 1, time. Sorry, I didn't give that much of a heads up there as to when time was going to end, but that is the end of the run. So we're going to get the credits here. But yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that. That final time, 22:36.82.
Oh wow, 22 then. Very nice.
Yeah.
So that's within a minute of the world record. So that's pretty good for a marathon.
Very, very good. Congratulations. Is that a personal best or?
No, I'm the world record holder. So.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. Well done.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go over next to the next show, which is the Spyro 2 14 Talisman Run. We're going to go over to it straight away, so we're not going to put the interval on because we are running quite a bit behind. But we're just going to change. We're just changing the labels on our end, and if you could just switch the games over, and we'll get that started.
Yep, I'll need to go grab my controller, but then we can start it up.
No problem. Meanwhile, everybody, if you do want to go and donate, please do so. Press enter. Sorry. 14 talisman. So if you do want to go and donate, please do so. I'll post the link in the chat for you all to go and donate. Sorry. So to go and donate to the Tiltify link, we're currently at £49 out of 300. So, which is our goal by the end of the marathon. The link to the Tiltify page is now in the chat. If you would like to go and donate, please do so. Everyone can really do a fantastic work, and every little really does help. Of the targets, however, all the targets and polls are pretty much no longer valid because those runs have now happened. So you can still donate to them if you want to, but we're not going to be showing them off, unfortunately, because we have seen those runs already. But please, if you do want to go and donate, please do so, because honestly, everyone can. They do amazing work for their community. They're a local Manchester-based charity, and they help disabled people play games with assistive technologies and stuff like that. So please do so. Every little really does help. For Game Together, though, from what I've heard, they have raised a lot of money there as well. I think they've raised upwards of about £6,000, which is absolutely incredible. So to everybody who's donated on behalf, a huge thank you. A huge thank you. And a huge thank you to everybody who's donated for InstaSpeedathon as well. It's things like these that really make me really proud to host these InstaSpeedathon events.